Oliver Taylor Hawkins, born February 17, 1972, was an American musician, best known as the drummer for the rock band Foo Fighters. Prior to joining the band in 1997, he was the touring drummer for Alanis Morissette as well as the drummer in a progressive experimental band Sylvia. In 2004, Hawkins formed his own side project, Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders, in which he plays drums and sings. He was voted Best Rock Drummer in 2005 by the United Kingdom drumming magazine Rhythm. His family moved to Laguna Beach, California in 1976, where Hawkins grew up. Hawkins has a brother, Jason, and a sister, Heather. He attended Thurston Junior High School and later went to Laguna Beach High School. After leaving the Orange County-based band Sylvia, later emerging as Anyone, he joined up as the drummer for Sass Jordan. In an interview with BBC Radio 6, Hawkins revealed that playing drums for Jordan was his first real gig. He then left to be Alanis Morissette's drummer on the tour supporting Jagged Little Pill. Between 1995 and 1996, Hawkins was the drummer for Morissette during her Can't Not tour. He appeared in the videos for You Oughta Know, All I Really Want, and You Learn. He also appeared on Morissette's VHS DVD Jagged Little Pill, Live, 1997. Hawkins played for Morissette for 18 months prior to joining Foo Fighters. After touring through the spring of 1996, Foo Fighters entered a Seattle studio with producer Gil Norton to record its second album. Conflict during recording reportedly erupted between Dave Grohl and drummer William Goldsmith, eventually causing Goldsmith to leave the band. The band regrouped in Los Angeles and almost completely re-recorded the album with Grohl on drums. The album, The Color and the Shape, was released on May 20, 1997. Grohl called up Hawkins to recommend a new drummer, thinking that Hawkins would not leave Morissette since it was a bigger band than Foo Fighters, which was only starting at the time. But to Grohl's surprise, Hawkins volunteered, explaining that he wanted to be a drummer in a rock band rather than for a solo act. The band announced Hawkins would be the new drummer on March 18, 1997. He made his debut in time for the album's release. When Hawkins joined the band, they were playing only at clubs or opening slots for other bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now they have been touring for nearly 25 years, playing at sold-out stadium concerts. Their biggest concert was reportedly at two-night sold-out shows at Wembley Stadium in London, where they performed for approximately 86,000 people in 2008. In addition to his drumming duties with the Foo Fighters, Hawkins is also an accomplished rock singer, guitarist and pianist. His first lead vocal with the group was a cover of Pink Floyd's Have a Cigar. Two versions of the song were released, one is the B-side to Learn to Fly, and another on the Mission, Impossible 2 soundtrack album. He sang lead vocals on the original Cold Day in the Sun, from In Your Honor, which was later released as a single, and the cover of Cream's I Feel Free, which appeared as the B-side of DOA, and on the EP 5 songs and a cover. Hawkins also sang lead vocals for the band's cover of Joe Walsh's Life of Illusion. Most recently, he sang lead vocals for Sunday Rain, a track on the Foo Fighters' 2017 album Concrete and Gold. Many Foo Fighters live shows feature Hawkins singing lead vocals on at least one cover song. He now also contributes with songwriting. He co-wrote songs like All My Life. In 2006, Hawkins released a self-titled LP with his side project, Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders. He occasionally plays with a Police cover band alternately called The Cops and Fallout. At Live Earth in 2007, Hawkins was part of SOS All-Stars with Roger Taylor of Queen and Chad Smith of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Hawkins played YYZ with Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson of Rush on stage at a concert in Toronto on March 22, 2008. Hawkins recorded the drum tracks for the Coheed and Cambria album Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star IV, Volume 2. No World for Tomorrow as the band's regular drummer, Chris Penny, was not able to record due to contractual reasons. Also, Hawkins toured with Coheed and Cambria shortly during the months of the album. Hawkins can also be heard drumming on Eric Avery's, formerly of Jane's Addiction first solo effort, Help Wanted, and on Carrie Ellis's album, Wicked in Rock. Hawkins and Grohl split drumming duties on Harmony and Dissidents, the latest album by Foo Fighters bandmate Chris Shiflett's own side project, Jackson United. Hawkins played on the track, Cyborg, from Queen guitarist Brian May's 1998 solo album, Another World. He also played drums at VH1's Rock Honors 2006 while Queen performed, We Will Rock You. He sang backing vocals on the Queen plus Paul Rodgers single, Celebrita. Hawkins was commissioned to complete an unfinished recording of a song by Beach Boys drummer Dennis Wilson titled, Holy Man, by writing and singing new lyrics. The recording was released in June 2008 as part of a deluxe edition of Wilson's lone 1977 solo album, Pacific Ocean Blue. While the Foo Fighters were on break, Hawkins played in a three-piece cover band, Chevy Metal, that played lesser-known tracks by ZZ Top, Aerosmith, Deep Purple, Van Halen, Queen, and Black Sabbath. Hawkins continues to play in Chevy Metal, with the addition of fellow Foo Fighters bandmate Chris Shiflett now on guitar. Hawkins appears on Slash's solo album Slash, released in 2010, providing backing vocals on the track, Crucify the Dead, featuring Ozzy Osbourne. In June 2012, it was announced that Hawkins was cast in the role of Iggy Pop in the rock film CBGB. Hawkins recorded the drums on Vasco Rossi's last song, L'uomo più semplice. This song was released on January 21, 2013 in Italy. In March 2014, Hawkins announced his new side project called The Birds of Satan. It features Hawkins's drum technician and bandmate from Chevy Metal, Wiley Hodgson on bass guitar and vocals, as well as guitarist Mick Murphy, also of Chevy Metal. The band's self-titled debut album was released in April 2014, with a release party at Rock 'n' Roll Pizza, featuring the Foo Fighters guesting on some of the cover tracks. In an interview with Radio X, Hawkins revealed that his initial idea with his solo projects was to duet with female singers. He has invited other stars to sing in Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders album Get the Money, like LeAnn Rimes, on one of his songs titled, See You in Hell. Loudwire named the album one of the 50 best rock efforts of 2019. Other musicians who have appeared in his projects include Roger Taylor, Brian May, Dave Grohl, Nancy Wilson, Joe Walsh, and many more. Hawkins has said that his drumming has been chiefly influenced by classic rock drummers. His main influences are Phil Collins of Genesis, Stuart Copeland of The Police, Budgie of Susie and the Banshees, Roger Taylor of Queen, Stephen Perkins of Jane's Addiction, Jim Gordon of Derek and the Dominos, and Neil Peart of Rush. He was once guest editor of Rhythm and interviewed Collins, Copeland, Taylor and Perkins for the issue. Hawkins's first two major inspirations were Roger Taylor and Stuart Copeland. He reported that due to these two drummers' different styles, it gave him a wide spectrum of drumming style. He also mentions that he would play along songs on the radio or records, like Queen's News of the World, to enhance his skills when he was young. Hawkins and his wife have 3 children. Their son, Oliver Shane, was born in 2006, their daughter, Annabelle, was born in winter 2009, and their second daughter, Everleigh, was born in November 2014. They reside in Hidden Hills, California, after moving from Topanga Canyon in 2012. Hawkins overdosed on heroin in 2001, which put him in a coma for 2 weeks. Speaking to Beats One host Matt Wilkinson in 2018 about the incident, Hawkins said, "I was partying a lot. I wasn't a junkie per se, but I was partying. There was a year where the partying just got a little too heavy. Thank God on some level this guy gave me the wrong line with the wrong thing one night and I woke up going, what the fuck happened? That was a real changing point for me." He is a childhood friend of current Yes lead vocalist John Davison. Hawkins was the one who suggested Davison to Yes bassist Chris Squire even before the departure of replacement vocalist Benoit David. Strangely enough, John's name came up when we started working with Benoit, Squire recalled. In fact, my friend, Taylor Hawkins, had been telling me for years, if you ever need a replacement singer, I know exactly the guy. An emotional Dave Grohl sobbed as he hugged his bandmates and friends at LAX on Saturday night, a day after Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins died of a cardiovascular collapse from a drug binge while the band was on tour in Colombia. Grohl, 53, appeared heartbroken as he hugged a man who appears to be his manager, John Silva, after the band returned to the U.S. In his memoir, The Storyteller, Grohl referred to Hawkins as his best friend and partner in crime, someone who brightened up rooms with a bubbly presence and a constant, toothy grin. Also pictured arriving were guitarists Pat Smear and Chris Shiflett, keyboardist Rami Jaffe and background singer Samantha Sidley. They landed on a private plane before they were photographed grieving the tragic loss. An autopsy found that Hawkins' heart weighed double that of an average man his age, and that the musician suffered a cardiovascular collapse after binging on a cocktail of drugs including heroin, marijuana, and opioids. Forensic experts said Hawkins' ticker weighed at least 600 grams, double the average of 300 to 350 grams during an examination following his shocking death at a luxury hotel in Colombian capital Bogotá on Friday, Colombian news magazine Semana reported. Authorities confirmed the Foo Fighters drummer had overdosed on heroin mixed with antidepressants and benzodiazepines, including anti-anxiety drugs known as benzos. Colombia's Attorney General's office, AGO, has already confirmed an initial autopsy carried out on Saturday revealed traces of 10 different drugs in Hawkins' urine, including opioids which can range from heroin to fentanyl and morphine. In a statement, it also revealed marijuana and antidepressants had been detected. Well-known Colombian journalist Luis Carlos Velez, the Bogotá-based director of radio station FM, said earlier today that a police officer who entered Hawkins' room at the Four Seasons Hotel Casa Medina had told prosecutors he saw cocaine-like, white powder. However, the AGO did not mention cocaine in its post-autopsy statement. Concerns about the drummer's health first arose on Friday night when he began complaining of chest pains prior to the band's headline performance at the Estéreo Picnic Festival in Bogotá. His condition subsequently deteriorated and efforts to revive him by a private doctor and city emergency responders failed. In its statement released late on Saturday, Colombia's AGO said, Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins was found dead in a hotel room on Friday in Bogotá. After concluding an initial forensic examination of the body, the AGO would like to communicate the following. 1. Preliminary results of the urine toxicology test indicate the presence of 10 different substances: THX, marijuana, tricyclic antidepressants, benzodiazepines, and opioids among others. 2. The National Institute of Forensic Medicine continues to conduct the necessary medical studies to ascertain the cause of death. 3. The AGO will continue to investigate and will duly inform the findings of forensic examinations in due time. Hawkins, a father of 3, suffered a heroin overdose in London in 2001 that left him in a coma for around a week. In an interview last year he admitted, "Everyone has their own path and I took it too far. I was partying in London one night, and I mistakenly did something and it changed everything. I believe the bull *T myth of live hard and fast, die young. I'm not here to preach about not doing drugs, because I love doing drugs, but I just got out of control for a while and it almost got me." It follows the results of an initial autopsy in which the AGO said it found 10 types of substances in a toxicology test. The statement added, Colombia's Attorney General's office can confirm the following after the initial autopsy on the body of Taylor Hawkins. That in the toxicology test on Taylor Hawkins' urine 10 types of substances were preliminarily found, including marijuana, tricyclic antidepressants, benzodiazepines, and opioids. The National Institute of Forensic Medicine is continuing its medical studies to be able to completely clarify the facts that led to Taylor Hawkins' death. Colombia's Attorney General's office will continue with the investigation and reveal the results obtained as part of this investigation as appropriate. One unconfirmed local report said several glasses were found inside the drummer's room, sparking speculation he had been entertaining guests before his death. Colombia's State Prosecution Service, in its first official comments on the tragedy, confirmed, "As soon as we were made aware of the death of foreign national Taylor Hawkins, the Foo Fighters drummer, who was staying at a hotel in the north of Bogotá, a team of prosecutors and investigators was mobilized to deal with urgent matters and support the investigation." Prosecution officials have not yet made any official comment regarding the speculation the musician's death may be drug-related. The drummer, who has a history of drug use, died in a hotel room in the north of Colombia's capital. The Metropolitan Police of Bogotá, in a statement carried by several Colombian newspapers, said, "The cause of death has yet to be established." According to those close to him, the death could be related to the consumption of drugs. Local reports said hotel staff called the emergency services after Hawkins suffered chest pains, but he was already dead by the time medical responders arrived. Foo Fighters had been scheduled to play at a concert in the Colombian capital. Hawkins, a father to 2 teenage children, had openly discussed his drug and overdose struggles years before what the band called his tragic and untimely death. 4 years after joining Foo Fighters, Hawkins overdosed on heroin and ended up in a coma in 2001, which he later described as the result of him taking it too far. Colombian music and entertainment journalist Alejandro Marin tweeted as news of the drummer's death emerged, "Don't begin to blame the country because Taylor died in Colombia if he died of an overdose. Don't be so stupid." Shortly after Hawkins' death was announced, dozens of fans together with journalists and videographers began to gather outside the hotel where the band had been staying. Many appeared to be in complete shock at the news, with some lighting candles. Ambulances and police cars could be seen stationed outside of the property. Later on Friday night, Hawkins' body was finally brought out of the hotel, placed into a coroner's van and driven away. The group had been scheduled to play at the Festival Estéreo Picnic in the Colombian capital, where an announcement told concertgoers that the band would not be playing due to a serious medical condition. Hawkins, who was married to his illustrator wife Allison and a father to 3 children, Oliver, Annabelle and Everleigh, had just completed a host of tour dates in South America, with the band last playing in San Isidro, Argentina, last Sunday. Health chiefs in Bogotá appeared to be signaling last night that Hawkins suffered a heart attack. The Secretariat of Health issued a statement which confirmed the Foo Fighters drummer had sparked a medical emergency after suffering chest pains. It said, "With regards to the death of the American musician Taylor Hawkins in the neighborhood of Chapinero, which happened on Friday night, the city health department states the following. The city's Emergency Regulation Center received an alert about a patient with chest pain in a hotel located in the north of the city. An ambulance was sent to attend to this case. However, when the health department teams arrived, they found a mobile response unit from the company EMI at the scene. The health professional that was dealing with the emergency indicated attempts to revive the patient had been carried out, but there had been no response and the patient was pronounced dead. The relevant authorities removed the body and started work on the investigations required as part of these types of incidents. We regret the death of this talented and world-famous drummer and send a message of condolences to his family, bandmates and fans." It made no mention of drugs in its statement, despite the fact police had alluded to Mr. Hawkins' death possibly being drug-related earlier in the day. Local reports had already referred to hotel staff at Casa Medina, the luxury hotel Hawkins was staying at, calling in emergency response teams after the drummer suffered chest pains. Hawkins joined the band in 1997 after the group completed their second album, The Color and the Shape. Prior to being in Foo Fighters, Hawkins played drums for Alanis Morissette, from whom he was recruited by frontman Dave Grohl, Nirvana's own legendary drummer. Grohl formed his second band Foo Fighters in 1994 in the wake of an earlier tragedy, just months after Kurt Cobain, Nirvana's frontman, took his own life. After Cobain's suicide in April, Grohl retreated and was unsure if he wanted to stay in the music industry but created Foo Fighters in October that year after penning a 15-track demo and signing with Capitol Records. In Grohl's 2021 book, The Storyteller, he called Hawkins his brother from another mother, my best friend, a man for whom I would take a bullet. Upon first meeting, our bond was immediate, and we grew closer with every day, every song, every note that we ever played together, Grohl wrote. We are absolutely meant to be, and I am grateful that we found each other in this lifetime. When Hawkins came aboard in 1997, Foo Fighters moved from the alternative rock scene to achieve mainstream success, regularly packing out arenas and stadiums. An imaginative and rock-solid drummer, he had the seemingly thankless task of playing drums behind Foo singer-guitarist Dave Grohl, who is one of the greatest drummers in rock history. Hawkins filled that role with aplomb, bringing his own hard-hitting, time-juggling style to the band's straight-ahead rock sound without trying to emulate Grohl. He was also a strong singer and frequently took the mic during the band's concerts and on B-sides, often on cover versions, such as a 2008 team-up with Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones, when Grohl went behind the drum kit and Hawkins took the mic. As well as the 9 albums he put out with Foo Fighters, Taylor also had 3 albums with his band Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders and an additional album with side project The Birds of Satan. He told the publication, "I was partying in London one night, and I mistakenly did something and it changed everything. I believed the bull *T myth of live hard and fast, die young. I'm not here to preach about not doing drugs, because I love doing drugs, but I just got out of control for a while and it almost got me. Whether someone's sober, or they like a glass of wine with dinner, or they want a bottle of Jägermeister before they go on stage, or they like to smoke doobies all day long, everyone has their own path, and I took it too far. I'm glad it got knocked on the head at that point. I wouldn't take anything away that I've done or been through either, because it's all part of the trip and the journey. I'm trying to be as candid as I can be." In a separate interview in 2018, Hawkins told Beats One of the overdose, "I was partying a lot. I wasn't a junkie per se, but I was partying. There was a year where the partying just got a little too heavy. Thank God on some level this guy gave me the wrong line with the wrong thing one night and I woke up going, what the FK happened? That was a real changing point for me." Hawkins said he now goes mountain biking to clear his head and, although he was not an AA dude, he said he developed a system that works for him. Tributes to Hawkins poured in immediately on social media from fellow musicians including Nickelback, Ozzy Osbourne and Billy Idol. In utter disbelief at the news of Taylor Hawkins. Our deepest condolences to his family, his bandmates, his team, his friends and everyone that was ever touched by the music he created with at Foo Fighters, at Alanis and so many others. This is so incredibly sad, wrote Nickelback on Instagram. Ozzy Osbourne praised Taylor Hawkins as a great person and an amazing musician, and promised to see him on the other side. At Taylor Hawkins was truly a great person and an amazing musician, Osbourne wrote on Twitter. My heart, my love and my condolences go out to his wife, his children, his family, his band and his fans. See you on the other side, Ozzy. Sharing a picture of Hawkins' online idol wrote, so tragic. Rest in peace Taylor. Miley Cyrus announced on Instagram that she would be dedicating her next concert to the drummer. She shared a black and white image of Taylor rocking out on his drum set on stage as he flashed his trademark smile. This is how I'll always remember you. She captioned her photo, before adding, my show tomorrow is dedicated to Taylor Hawkins. Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker joined in the somber tributes by sharing a sweet photo of his band meeting up with Hawkins and other Foo Fighters members. Hawkins could be seen grinning while the group's frontman Grohl mugged for the camera. I don't have the words. Sad to write this or to never see you again, he addressed the fallen drummer. I'll never forget Laguna Beach days when I was a trash man playing in a punk rock band and you were playing with Alanis. You'd come watch me play in dive bars and be like, kid you're a star. And I thought you were crazy but you gave me so much hope and determination, Barker wrote. Years later we toured together with Blink and Foos in Australia and I have the best memories of smoking cigarettes in the restroom of flights we were on together and watching your set every night. To say I'll miss you my friend isn't enough. Till the next time we talk drums and smoke in the boys' room rest in peace. God bless you Taylor Hawkins. I loved your spirit and your unstoppable rock power, wrote Rage Against the Machine frontman Tom Morello. Rest in peace my friend. I've always had so much admiration for him, former drummer with Dream Theater drummer Mike Portnoy wrote. The musician and legendary record producer Steve Albini wrote that Hawkins' death had left music lessened and duller. Taylor Hawkins was a terrific drummer with a gorgeous disposition, seemed always to be having the time of his life. I didn't know him well but I know music is lessened by his passing, made duller and smaller. Requiescat, he wrote. Billie Eilish's brother and musical collaborator Phineas paid tribute to Hawkins on Twitter. So heartbroken to hear about Taylor Hawkins' passing. What an incredible talent, who didn't also need to be so kind and generous and cool but was all those things too anyway, he wrote. The world was so lucky to have his gifts for the time that it did, rest in peace. Actor Josh Brolin simply shared a close-up photo of Taylor and captioned it, no, while adding a crying emoji. KISS co-founder Paul Stanley wrote that he was speechless and gutted from the news of Hawkins' death. Taylor was a great guy, a dad and a husband. My heart goes out to them, Dave and the band. What awful news. Full House star John Stamos shared his final conversation with Taylor with his Twitter followers as he mourned his missed opportunity to catch up with his friend one last time. "This was Taylor Hawkins' last text to me. Yo, we've yet to fully have a hang, gotta put that S asterisk 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 together before we die. Wise words from my friend, put that S asterisk 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 together. I'm so F asterisk asterisk gang sad. Another one gone too soon," he wrote. Good Charlotte frontman Joel Madden simply wrote that he had no words, while adding a broken-hearted emoji. Richard Marks wrote that he was gutted by the news after he had recently collaborated with a drummer. Gutted. Completely gutted. We just recorded something together a month ago. Can't even process this right now. Let's hold Taylor wife and children close to our hearts. Fans of the band were also in shock, with one writing, "We are devastated by this. Our hearts go out to his family and Foo Brothers," while a third responded, "Is this real? What?" Another Twitter user said, "In absolute shock and disbelief over the passing of Taylor Hawkins. I've always had so much admiration for him. Amazing drummer and a gem of a guy who was always fun to be around. I'm absolutely gutted. My deepest condolences to his bandmates and family." Hawkins had spoken openly about his battle with drugs. "I used to do a lot of F-king drugs. You get the work done," he said in an interview with Kerrang last year, in which he spoke of living fast and dying young. "Everyone has their own path and I took it too far. I was partying in London one night, and I mistakenly did something and it changed everything. I believe the Bulls T myth of live hard and fast, die young. I'm not here to preach about not doing drugs, because I love doing drugs, but I just got out of control for a while and it almost got me. I was heading down a road that was going to lead to even worse paths. Whether someone's sober, or they like a glass of wine with dinner, or they want a bottle of Jägermeister before they go on stage, or they like to smoke doobies all day long, everyone has their own path, and I took it too far. I'm glad it got knocked on the head at that point. I wouldn't take anything away that I've done or been through either, because it's all part of the trip and the journey. I'm trying to be as candid as I can be. I go mountain biking now." Foo Fighters were scheduled to perform at the Lollapalooza Festival in Brazil on Sunday and at the Grammy Awards a week later, on April 3rd. The band also has multiple tour dates scheduled through December in North America, Europe, Australia and New Zealand. The Foo Fighters family is devastated by the tragic and untimely loss of our beloved Taylor Hawkins. His musical spirit and infectious laughter will live on with all of us forever. Our hearts go out to his wife, children and family, and we ask that their privacy be treated with the utmost respect in this unimaginably difficult time, the band wrote in a statement. At the time of his death, Foo Fighters were on tour in South America. The band had played in San Isidro, Argentina, last Sunday and were due to perform in Bogotá, Colombia, on Friday night, the day his death was announced. Pictures on social media showed fans gathering in front of the stage at the Estéreo Picnic Festival, with lit candles being placed on stage. The band were scheduled to perform at the Grammys on April 3rd and were due to begin a new tour of North America in May. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Foo Fighters in 2021 by Sir Paul McCartney. Following the release of their most recent album, Medicine at Midnight, the band filmed a spoof horror film titled Studio 666, in which Hawkins starred alongside his bandmates. Born Oliver Taylor Hawkins in Fort Worth, Texas, he had worked as a touring drummer for the likes of Alanis Morissette and Sass Jordan before joining Foo Fighters in 1997. His career went from strength to strength and he was named Best Rock Drummer in 2005 by magazine Rhythm. Taylor then joined the band after the singer Dave Grohl fell out with the drummer William Goldsmith. Goldsmith then left the group. Grohl had also previously been the drummer in Nirvana and the group ended up re-recording an album they made with Goldsmith, with Grohl playing the drum parts himself before reaching out to an acquaintance when looking for recommendations for a new drummer, who suggested Taylor. Grohl was under the impression Taylor wouldn't want to leave Morissette's touring band, but Taylor decided to join the band, stating that he had long wanted to be the drummer in a rock band. Taylor also provided vocals, guitar and piano for the band on various recordings. No matter what caused his untimely demise, 50 is no age for anyone to pass away. My thoughts are with his friends and family, especially his children. They say only the good die young, and Taylor seems to have been a really good guy. Rest in peace, Taylor.